Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, and if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and we're getting really close to that 1,000 subscriber mark. When we do that, I will introduce one of my pets, and then every subscriber milestone we have after that, I will introduce a different pet until we have no more pets, and everybody's introduced, and then I will have a face reveal, okay? So if you would like to know whether I am an AI or not, please like and subscribe. Anyways, what have I been working on this week? For YieldMight, I was actually getting the ending of the updating all of the funds, and about halfway through, I was like, I'm just gonna get an API and get this done so that I can do it automatically. And it took me a little more than a week to get something that worked. And so it was working, and then I pushed up the code into production and it broke everything, so I had to revert it. And so now I have a dev environment, so I can push code up to my dev environment before I put it into production. And yeah, so I was working on fixing my code today just to make sure, because of course, I pushed the code. I was, in a work meeting, and I was like, oh, I really just want to update YMag and YMax, and get YieldMax updated. It won't take very long. We'll just push it up. Nothing bad will happen. And then it broke the entire website, and I was like, shit. I had to find a revert that would work, and so we got this back, and I realized when I was putting everything back that I had actually put the wrong next declaration date in YMag and YMax this time, so I will go back and manually change that in the database, and so that will be fixed pretty soon. But yes, I now have a more automated process. It's not 100% finished yet. I wound up using Polygon.io, and you can only make a request every 15 seconds, so it's a little bit slow when you're checking almost 100 stocks every day. So we'll just continue doing that. I also am working on getting AdSense approved and everything up and running like I want it to. My next steps are to, when we do the details, I would like for these to stack, and that way it's more usable on mobile, and the footers, and get the disclaimers in there correctly, and then we will start on the next feature. So then what are we doing with my actual portfolio? I don't think I did anything super stupid to my portfolio this time. I still have 705 shares because I had a covered call at $31, and I was like, ugh, I don't really want to sell it when it's $37. So I bought it back for $5. So I have another call out that I got $1.50 for. So if YieldMax could have their distribution be like $4, I will feel less bad about keeping my 100 shares, and I'll just get my ROI back right away, because at that point I've sold it for $31, and my cost basis for that is $5 a share. So then that would mean I have 100 shares that are completely paid off. Okay, that's the mental gymnastics I'm doing, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. I finally figured out what I was doing with the SPY. Apparently you can't do covered calls because I don't own 100 shares of SPY, but I can sell calls, which is different because I control 100 shares. And so it's just a slightly different button click that no one explained to me, but I guess that's what I get for having the advanced option trader turned on without actually being an advanced trader. But everyone starts from somewhere. I do have $37,000 of buying power, and I don't have any margin out, so I don't have my cool graphic, but yes, I'm going to be taking out probably a lot of MSTX, selling puts on that, and until I have the 50% margin. And if I don't have enough money, or like the money's weird, I'll probably take out like SoFi or BitO just to, get to that 50% margin used. Maybe just slightly more, but I really do like MSTX, and I think that Bitcoin is going to continue its run now, or it's going to pull back, and I will get MSTX for cheaper than it is currently, which is at like $80 something. So all my things expired on Friday, so we're super good. And then in my retirement account, the SPY bought call that I turned into cash, and well, that I believe I had already put into the different funds. This money here is I had a lot of SCHG and the CHD puts out. And the reason for that is that money had been liquidated so that when I sold my condo, I could make up the short sale, but then the condo sale didn't happen. So now I have $46,000 to put back into the various different ETFs that I want them to be in and earning money, which I could take this $46,000 and buy a lot of MSTX puts and do it that way, but I don't think I will. Honestly, I just want these in ETFs. I might, as I get, distributions in, take out like some puts in my retirement account. But the fact that I can't do leaps and stuff, I just would rather do a really good job babysitting my taxable account than also like doing so much that I get overwhelmed and drop the ball on my retirement account. So I think we're just going to use the silos to put money into these and just shoot for having the $0 available and just have everything in its proper place. And as I get my distributions, and if, for the leverage stuff, if it's, above the 200-day moving average and I take my profits, like, that'll be fine. So this will just be a very different way of going about this. So not too much crazy stuff going on this week. I am really excited to see what Misty's doing. I'm, hoping $3 or $4 per share, because that would mean I get to pay my bad call off much sooner. Let's take a moment to talk about SMCI, because when I heard the news, and I still have not really gone through and done like a risk assessment or really gone and looked at the news, all I heard was the auditors quit. And that felt to me, and by the way, this is my own opinion, and it's definitely not researched, but like if you're thinking about buying into it now, just be cautious. It would be my, don't YOLO into this. But my impression is like this is just one of those things that investors hear about, and then they get really scared and everybody sells out, the stock price drops, and then, some people buy a little bit more, or they just hold their positions, and then it might take a few years, but then, they come back and they're more stable and they do very well, and all of a sudden your stock has 100x and you're pretty happy. So I was under the impression that it would be more like that, and not like, well, now that they can't, their auditors quit, now they're under investigation for how they do their financials, and they might get delisted, and everybody's in the sad place. So it depends on what your risk tolerance is. I'm not sure if SMCY would be. I wouldn't YOLO into it, but while they're deciding the fate of SMCI, it might be a highly volatile stock and pay a higher premium, but I'm not sure if it's a good underlying. So it was just that I had a comment from the last video about, you can't just say it followed the underlying. The company is actually just wiping out completely and still isn't a good idea to do. So that's the first rule with investing in cycle stocks is, do you have high conviction for this company? And, we trusted YieldMax to do their due diligence in order to offer us the fund in the first place. Because, I had never heard of AMDY. I had never really heard about Palantir. But now I am starting to hear more about these companies. And, I want to, YOLO into a bunch of these because I feel like AI is upon us. But I also feel like, I'm making my Bitcoin play, and that's probably risky enough. So you might see, in December, I'll probably do a better job of explaining how I'm going to organize my taxable account moving forward. I do need to start rearranging things because I'm going to start paying off my credit cards. And I'm planning on doing that. And hopefully this makes sense because it's the first time I'm speaking out loud about it. So starting in January, I'll be putting $2,000 into Robinhood. So that means that I'd have $4,000 in margin. So what I'm planning on doing is not really buying stocks, but taking out margin. And so I will withdraw $4,000 and then I will take out as much margin as I feel comfortable with to pay back the majority of that $4,000. So $2,000 of that right away will be 50% of it will basically be paid back by the amount that I deposit into Robinhood. So that means that I have $2,000 more dollars. That is my goal for the margin that my premiums. And whatever I don't get from the premiums, I will pay from the Misty distributions. And if that's not enough, every distribution I get from YieldMax funds until we get to that $4,000 and it's paid off. And then we'll start the cycle again where, I take out margin. And when those calls expire, I will take out that $4,000 withdrawal. I'll deposit $2,000 from the rent that I'm receiving from my condo. And then we'll be using margin from the next set of margin that I do to pay off the withdrawal loan. And by taking out the $4,000 and paying it back within a month, hopefully that means that I can still take out, margin and still get premiums that are worth it. And I'll be paid off. I'll pay off my credit cards in 5 months, and then, whatever happens next year, I just want to front load next year with, if I paid $4,000, $8,000, $12,000, and then the stock market totally crashes, then I can just use the $2,000 I get from rent to pay off my credit cards before they're due at the end of the year. So the promotion period doesn't end until October next year. So if I get it done and all paid off by summer, then we can do that. And then I can breathe a sigh of relief if nothing terrible's happened in the market, and we can continue going forward because then I just have my trailer, my car, and my condo as outstanding debt. My car will be, my truck will be paid off in March 2026, and it's only a 5.25% APR, so I'm not going to pay it off early. And then my trailer has like $58,000 outstanding, but it has like a 8.75% interest rate, so I'd like to pay that off just on the principal of it. But at the same time, if I can get, 25% interest, if I, like distribution rate, if I can make more money in the market, then after I pay off my credit card, we'll see if I'll take like a small portion or like maybe like half the premium or whatever from my margin calls and just overpay my trailer. That way, as far as I'm concerned with my life that I want, I'll be debt free, and then the condo can just it's at 3.25% interest, so it's just gonna be hanging around until I sell it. So anyways, that's the plan. Hopefully I'm gonna stick to it. I will see you all later. Sorry for being late today. I just was working on fixing the website and then ate lunch and was like, yeah, I could definitely do this in one take, but it actually took two. So I will talk to you all later. Bye.